A message appears from someone you have not heard from in years, and before you have even finished reading it, something warm moves through you that you did not expect. A name attached to real memories, a person who knew a version of you that most people in your current life never met. And for a moment, the years between then and now feel like nothing at all, because that is the particular kind of magic that shared history carries, and nobody is immune to it. But here is the thing about that warmth and the openness it creates inside you. It is one of the most genuine feelings a person can have, and it is also one of the most targetable, because there are people who understand exactly what that feeling does to your defenses, and who have learned to produce it on demand for reasons that have absolutely nothing to do with missing you or wanting to reconnect in any real sense of that word. The cruelest thing about this particular kind of approach is that it does not use anything foreign against you. It uses your own history, your own memories, your own capacity for forgiveness, and your own longing for the connections that once meant something. And by the time the real intention behind the reconnection becomes clear, you are already emotionally invested in a way that makes clarity feel like loss. What you are about to learn will not make you closed off or suspicious of every person from your past. It will make you honest about what you are actually looking at when someone comes back. Every part of this video builds on the one before it, so let it play all the way through. If time is not on your side right now, speed it up to 1.5 or 2 times and absorb every single section, because not one part of what follows is something you can afford to skip. Now, before anything else in this video lands the way it needs to, there is one foundational truth that has to be established clearly and without softening, because everything else builds directly on top of it. And that truth is this: the timing of an unexpected reconnection tells you more about the person's intentions than anything they say in the message itself. Not the words they choose, not the warmth of the tone, not the specific memory they reference to open the door. The timing. Because genuine longing for a lost friendship does not operate on a schedule tied to your public life milestones. It surfaces randomly. It shows up during quiet moments that have nothing to do with what you just posted or announced or achieved. But a reconnection driven by opportunity operates on a completely different clock, and that clock is set to your visibility. This is the first of 5 signs that an old friend who suddenly wants to reconnect has evil intentions, and it is the one that reveals everything before a single additional conversation even takes place. Think carefully about what was happening in your life in the weeks or days before this person reappeared. Not what was happening privately, what was visible. What could someone watching your life from a distance have seen that would have made this particular moment feel like the right time to reach back out? A new position that signals financial stability or professional influence. A relationship that signals you are happy and settled and less likely to be emotionally guarded. A move, a purchase, a trip, or any other public signal that your circumstances have meaningfully shifted upward. Because a person who is responding to opportunity, rather than to genuine feeling, does not reach out in your winter. They reach out in what looks like your summer. They were not inspired by nostalgia or by a sudden surge of genuine care. They were inspired by what they observed, and they made a calculation about whether approaching you now was worth the effort. The warmth of the message is real in the sense that they genuinely want something. What it is not is evidence that they missed you in any way that matches the feeling their message produced in you. And understanding that gap between what the message made you feel and what actually motivated the message is the first and most important step in seeing this situation clearly. Now, there is a quality to genuine reconnection that is genuinely hard to replicate and very easy to feel when it is real. When 2 people who actually lost something in losing touch with each other find their way back to conversation, both of them are a little tentative at first. There is a beautiful awkwardness to it, an honest acknowledgement that time passed and things changed, and that you are in some ways meeting each other again for the first time. Questions get asked because both people are genuinely curious about who the other person became. There is exploration rather than assumption, and the closeness that develops from that kind of conversation feels earned because it is. It was built in real time by 2 real people choosing to invest in each other again. What you get from someone who came back with a hidden agenda feels different, and the difference is subtle enough in the early stages to miss if you are not watching for it. The intimacy arrives too quickly, and it arrives preloaded. Before you have had enough current conversations to justify the level of closeness being offered, this person is already talking to you like someone you never stopped being close to. Old memories are not just referenced occasionally in the natural flow of conversation. They are brought in deliberately and consistently as a way of producing a specific emotional state in you, the state of remembering how much trust you once had for this person and feeling that trust as though it applies to who they are right now. This is the second sign, and it is one of the most psychologically sophisticated moves in the Reconnection playbook. By anchoring every exchange in shared history, they are essentially asking you to extend to the current version of them all the trust that the past version earned, without that past version having to do any of the present-day work of earning it again. Because trust is the one thing they need most, and they cannot wait for the real version to develop. So they borrow yours from the past and hope you do not notice the difference between what was earned then and what is simply being assumed now. Now, here is something genuinely worth stopping to appreciate for a moment. The level of self-protective awareness you are building right now through this video is the kind that takes most people years of painful experience to develop. You are getting the map before the terrain tries to swallow you whole, and that is not a small thing. This third sign out of 5 is the one that tends to produce the most immediate recognition in people who have already been through a version of this, because it describes something they lived but could never quite articulate until someone named it precisely. So let it land fully. Think about your recent conversations with this person who has reconnected. Not just the general feeling of them, but the actual mechanics. Who drove the curiosity? Who asked the deeper questions? Who leaned into the details and followed up on the things the other person shared? And then on the other side of that, when you try to recall what you actually learned about their current life, what do you have? What do you know about where they are financially? What do you know about their real relationship status or the quality of their closest connections? What do you know about the struggles they are currently navigating or the plans they are genuinely working toward? If the answer is that your picture of their current life is surprisingly thin for the amount of conversation you have had, that imbalance is not an accident, and it is not personality. It is architecture. A person in information gathering mode learns very quickly that the most effective way to extract what they need is to make the other person feel genuinely heard and valued. And nothing makes a person feel more heard and valued than someone who asks great questions and responds to the answers with real engagement. So they ask and they listen and they follow up, and you share more than you perhaps intended because the experience of being that genuinely curious about feels wonderful. But underneath that experience, a very specific and very calculated cataloging is happening. And this is exactly the kind of behavioral pattern I go into extraordinary depth on inside the program I built for people who want to understand predatory dynamics before those dynamics get close enough to cause real damage. Recognizing when a conversation is connection versus when it is extraction. Knowing how to stay genuinely open without unknowingly handing someone a complete map of your vulnerabilities, and understanding the difference between someone who is curious about you and someone who is building a file on you. These are the kinds of distinctions the program teaches in a way no short video can fully hold. I want to be honest with you the way I always am. That program is the only thing that keeps this channel running. YouTube has not monetized my content, and I have genuinely never been given a satisfying reason why. No ads run here. No sponsorships fund this work. Nothing keeps it alive, except the people who care enough about what is being built here to support it through the program. If what you are absorbing right now is already shifting how you see things, I promise the program takes that shift somewhere that changes how you move through the world permanently. The link is in the description, and I hope you take the step. Now do not let this next one move through you quickly. Sit in it. Because of all 5 signs in this video, this is the one that operates at the deepest level of human psychology, and the one that the most well-intentioned and self-aware people get caught by without realizing what happened, until they are already fully inside the dynamic it creates. There are bonds that form between people during the hardest or most intense seasons of their lives that are genuinely unlike anything else. The friend who was there during a loss that reshaped you. The person who sat with you through something dark, when almost everyone else kept a comfortable distance. The one who shares the memory of a period so defining that just hearing them reference it takes you back to who you were in that moment with a vividness that the years have not dulled. Those bonds are real. The experiences that created them were real. And the feeling that gets activated when someone who shared those experiences reaches back into that space with you is not manufactured on your end. It is one of the most genuine emotional responses a human being can have. And a person who has come back into your life with something to gain from your lowered guard knows this. The fourth sign that this reconnection is not what it appears to be is that this person gravitates consistently toward the shared pain, the shared intensity, or the shared defining experiences as a way of producing emotional closeness that bypasses your current judgment entirely. They say things that remind you of who they were to you in those moments. They speak about those times with a tenderness and a specificity that makes your nervous system respond before your rational mind has had a chance to ask any questions. And in the warmth of that emotional recognition, you stop relating to them as who they are today, and start relating to them as who they were to you then, which is precisely the version of your relationship they need you to inhabit, because that version comes loaded with a level of trust and openness that the current version of them has not come close to earning. The manipulation here is not in making you feel something false. The manipulation is in deliberately activating something real in order to move past the very discernment that would otherwise protect you. That is a meaningful distinction, and it is one that, once you truly understand it, makes this particular tactic lose most of its power over you going forward. Now, before this final point lands, let this question sit with you honestly for just a moment. From the very first message this person sent, from the very first conversation you had after they reappeared, has there been even one moment where something quiet and small inside you said that something here is not quite right? Not loudly, not as anything you could point to specifically, just a subtle, persistent sense that the warmth being offered does not fully match the reality of the years that passed, that the enthusiasm is just a fraction too consistent, that the interest never seems to ebb the way real human attention naturally does, that there is something slightly smooth about the whole thing, in a way that real interaction rarely is. If that feeling has been there even once, and you talked yourself out of it, you have already experienced the fifth and final sign that this reconnection carries intentions worth questioning. And the reason this sign is last is not because it is the least important. It is last because it is the most important, and because it is the one that renders every other sign secondary if you choose to honor it. Here is what your gut is actually doing when it sends that quiet signal. It is completing a pattern recognition process that your conscious mind has not yet caught up to. Every micro-inconsistency in this person's behavior, every moment where what they present and what they actually feel do not quite align, every instance where the performance slips just slightly before being corrected, your nervous system registered all of it before you had words for any of it. And it is translating that accumulated data into the only language available to it at that speed, which is feeling. The feeling that something is off, the feeling that the warmth is slightly rehearsed, the feeling that you are being engaged rather than genuinely met. The problem is never that this feeling is wrong. The problem is that the desire for the good version of this story to be true is louder and more comfortable than the quiet alarm your instincts are ringing. You want this person to be who they are presenting themselves as. You want the nostalgia to be mutual, and the warmth to be real, and the reconnection to be the genuinely lovely thing it looks like on the surface. And that wanting is completely human and completely understandable, but it is not a substitute for paying attention to what you are actually experiencing versus what you are hoping you are experiencing. The moment you stop talking yourself out of that persistent, quiet feeling is the moment this person loses the most important advantage they ever had over you. You just moved through something important, and you did it with the kind of honesty that most people avoid, because it is easier to believe the warm version of the story than to look at what the story is actually telling you. You now know that a reconnection timed to your most visible success is responding to opportunity, not to genuine longing. You know that intimacy built from the past rather than the present is manufactured rather than earned. You know that a conversation where you are endlessly curious about you and barely present about themselves is extraction dressed as connection. You know that invoking shared pain to produce emotional closeness is a deliberate bypass of your current discernment, not an accident of nostalgia. And you know that the quiet, persistent feeling that something is slightly off is not anxiety or paranoia, but the most sophisticated and most reliable alarm system you will ever have access to. Here is what matters most right now. None of this means closing your heart to every person from your past who reaches back out. It means being honest about what you are actually seeing rather than what you are hoping to see. Going back to overriding that quiet signal. Going back to extending present trust based on past history that has not been re-earned. Going back to sharing the full map of your life with someone who only offered you a postcard of theirs. After everything in this video that would genuinely mean choosing confusion over the clarity that was just placed directly in your hands. You are better than that now. The video appearing on your screen right now is not a random suggestion. The algorithm that has been learning exactly what you need placed it there specifically for you. Not clicking, it would honestly be the only step today that does not match the quality of every decision you made by watching this all the way through.